have no homes. They were going to have no
Okay,
energy. They were going to
so
be in the streets rioting
I'm gonna
against
turn
Vladimir
this
Putin, who would have to withdraw
down.
his defeated army from Ukraine. There was a
Watching this, I guess this just came out today. Scott Ritter on Redacted, but that's not what I want to talk about. I'm gonna I'm gonna try something different here. What I'm gonna do is when I'm reading, browsing my news, and I see something that I want to talk about, I'll just try to make a video immediately, put my thoughts down, because essentially, I mean to do analysis at the end of the week or something, and I even do favorites and all that. But by the time you know I get down to making a video, I can't even remember like what my specific thoughts were. So I just got to do the videos right away. And what am I just got this new pipe. It's a I don't know kind of pipe. I got it for like $80 on Smoking Pipes, and it's like a nice pipe. I'm smoking some Haunted Bookshop out of it. It has a B sort of logo. Someone will be able to tell if anybody sees, whoever sees this, if there's any pipe smokers, they'll be able to tell what the brand is. So this is what I wanted to talk about. Um, Spain plans 9.5 billion in inflation aid, windfall energy tax. So, reading this, Spain is going to somewhere here. It says value added tax reduced by 5%, and then handing out money. So they're doing direct payments to the population. So here we go. Prime Minister Sanchez's cabinet approved reducing the value-added tax on power bills to 5% from 10% and handing out 200 euros to vulnerable workers. I guess a one-time stimulus check, stimmy check. He added his government will work on new legislation to tax windfall profits of power companies starting next year. I got my window open. This is Florida. This is South Florida. There's shit going on. The window being open at this time on a Saturday may be an issue. We'll see. Uh, so they haven't actually passed the value at the windfall energy tax yet. Blah blah Sanchez, this president of here it's Sanchez is saying some political platitudes. Um, Other emergency measures: fuel discount of 20 cents a liter due to expire at the end of June will be extended until late December. Appease voters. They even say it here. These actions are the latest effort to appease voters. Because, and here, by the way, he has to blame the Russia, the tremendous uncertainty lingering over this world, blah blah blah. He says somewhere in here he blames it on Russia. I mean, here he kind of alludes to it. The tremendous uncertainty lingering over this world. Obviously, that's to to uh, yeah here that is to imply that this has something to do with the Ukraine war, all this inflation. It is possible to mitigate the economic and social effects of this war. There he's directly attributing these problems, the inflation problems, to war. So, blah, blah. Let's see if there's anything else worth talking about in this article. New measures. And somewhere in this article, it said, now it's redirecting me. Why is it redirecting me? I didn't want to see that. Okay, they're being assholes. They're redirecting me or something. Let me go back to the original. Okay. And then somewhere he says, yeah, the defeat in the socialist historical stronghold highlights the challenges Spain faces to retain power in general elections expected in late 2023. So, I'll start with this whole situation here. The defeat of they just got their asses handed to them in some small elections in a historical stronghold in Spain. So the Socialist Party is of I don't follow Spanish politics. So the Socialist Party is the ruling party at the moment, and they're led by this guy Sanchez, and they just got their asses handed to them in an election. And this is not just isolated to Spain. What's going on? We're seeing um, in France, you have the socialists and the right wingers together surging against the incumbent ruling party of Macron. In Germany, you have the SPD, I think, or the SPD is the one getting their asses handed to them. I don't know. There's there in Germany, they're the ruling party and the ruling coalition is getting its asses handed to them in elections around Germany. I heard about it a few weeks ago. I don't remember the details, but I do pay a little bit of attention to German politics. I'm sure a lot of people in Germany right now are wishing Merkel was back, even people that didn't like her. I, for one, was never a fan of Merkel, and I want to see Merkel back into power. In she needs to come out of retirement. I don't care what her health is, what's up with her health. She needs to at least, like, temporarily for 6 months to a year come back and just set this ship right, and then she can go back into retirement. In the United States, the Democrats are going to get their asses handed to them. That's a foregone conclusion. We'll see if the Republicans are able to snap defeat from the jaws of victory. It's possible. Their capitulation in the gun reform was not going to help them get turnout. So that's one example of a situation the Republicans caused that might have hurt their chances, caused some of their base to stay home. Considering that, I heard a comment. The comment was, "Thank God the Supreme Court came out with this Second Amendment opinion and decision, because people were afraid within the political sphere that 14 Republicans going over to gun control, to the gun control side, even working with the Democrats, would perhaps piss off some voters and get them to stay home." So that's what I mean there. So we're seeing all over the world right now, incumbents in the Western world, the sanctions fanatics of Europe and the United States, they're all getting their asses handed to them politically because they're fucking up economically. But the fucking up has been going on much longer than just these last 2 years. As we know, the inflation itself can be directly traced to Trump in 2020. And Biden came in and made it worse. Yes, a lot worse. But we can take the inflation all the way back to 20, 30 years. I've talked about it. Stagnating productivity is the root cause. And there's two main causes, which is the creation of money, too much money, the fiscal stimulus, and the regulations. So we have too big of a government. It's hurting our manufacturing base and causing supply to go down. Supply of goods and services, even food. Supply of food. The United States used to export food. Now we're an importer, according to Vladimir Putin. He said that in his speech, and I haven't heard anybody challenge that. So the United States doesn't even export food. Isn't even a net exporter of food anymore. So we're seeing all of these incumbent parties getting their asses handed to them. And what they're doing is they are doing the opposite. What the incumbent parties are doing is doing the opposite of what they need to be doing in order to actually tackle the inflation. But the problem is they're not, no matter what they do, inflation is going to remain high by this year's election season. So even if they took steps to counter inflation now, I don't think those, even if they took decisive action, we wouldn't see the effects for a year or two. So what they're doing is they are just giving people money, putting money in people's pockets, even though they know that this would perhaps aggravate the inflation crisis. But they don't care, because what they are concerned about is getting reelected. They are putting more money, cash, in people's pockets. That's one of the root causes of why we're in this inflation crisis in the first place. And then they are directly impacting the supply of energy by doing a windfall tax on energy companies. So I'm not saying energy companies are good people, but really and honestly, you would need to do the opposite of those two things. And I'm sure, by the way, the energy companies in Spain, like in every country, are heavily subsidized, if not outright controlled. I'd have to look that up. I don't know. But either way, the energy companies definitely in every country partner with government. And so that's kind of interesting. So yeah, they're doing the opposite of what they should be doing if they actually wanted to have an impact on the price inflation. I wonder if they actually know that it's the opposite of what they should be doing, or are they that economically illiterate and morally bankrupt? Or, well, are they economically illiterate? Or are they just so morally bankrupt that they're going to do something to aggravate inflation just to see if they can purchase enough votes out of the deal? And I suspect we're going to see more of this. I suspect that the United States government has been talking about measures like this. California is already doing it, I think. They're giving people some sort of stimulus to pay for gas. Got Biden's gas plan that he came out with was so bad that even the Democrats didn't even want anything to do with it. But they're going to try more of this because in their minds, either they have good faith reasons to want to do this, to want to get reelected. Maybe they're like, well, I got to do whatever I can to get reelected now, even if it makes the situation worse, because if I don't get reelected, well, then I'm not going to be doing anything. And maybe you could say that's a good faith reason for wanting to do something like this, but, it doesn't matter. You're going to make people's lives worse. So this is absolutely amazing. They're literally doing the opposite of what they're supposed to be doing if they want to do anything about inflation, about the current, inflation regime that we have. They're doing literally the opposite. Do they know that it's the opposite? I mean, do they know that this is going to make inflation worse? It's possible they do, and they're doing it anyway, just to purchase some votes. But as long as people sell their votes like this, the ultimate responsible party are the people that vote for officials based on, government assistance and, money, payments, stimulus checks, and all that. So ultimately, it's the fault of the voters here and in Spain and in Germany. And it's ultimately because of a societal, civilizational malaise that has afflicted our entire society, and it's tearing it apart. But it's kind of what happens to every advanced society. It's kind of like a colony collapse disorder. So they're doing this is how, governments end up doing the opposite of what they would be prescribed to do. So anyway, that is my spiel for today. Like I said, my goal from here on out, what I'm going to do is do just single articles, give my thoughts on them. If I see something that I want to talk about, I'll put it down on video. I'm out.